Alrighty then, mic check, mic check. Let's get things started here this evening. How's everybody doing? Mic check, mic check. Let me know if the microphone is good. Trying to get things ready for the live streaming. Getting into our small account challenge against ICT and the rest of his Muppet clan in the Robbins Turd competition. The best fraud contest in the world. So easy to cheat. We call it the hide and cheat contest. Alright, so let's see if any of this works. I'm at our waiting room working. Kind of. We're going to training 4. Alright, tonight we're going to be talking about the new release. You can't see me on YouTube. Hold on. Okay. Up with YouTube. Let's see what's going on. Oh. Helps if we change the settings, doesn't it? Alrighty then. That should be coming up now. I apologize, so let's give it another minute here and try that again. I'm Rusty. Been a while. How's everybody doing? Alright, copy video link here and try this. Alright, so I'm looking to see if anybody's got some chats there. Alright, I see first. There's Bush. What's up, everybody? Alright, as you guys are coming in, help me out. Type me in the chat where you're coming from. I'm live streaming here out of Texas. Tell me what state or country you're in, and we'll get going. So, the very beginning of this, I started chatting away. And yeah, so here's what we're talking about tonight. We are going to talk about the new release and the updates that were in it, bug fixes, etc. We are going to be talking about really kind of focusing in on some of the Enigma features and the levels on Enigma. If you are an Enigma owner, congratulations! 2023 was the only year to get with me, the Enigma crew. So we'll be trying to figure out some Enigma mugs for the Enigma crew. And but yes, we are going to talk about the final updates to the Enigma levels and the competition. So I had planned to be live streaming today. We are waiting on the Robins to respond. Waiting on my account still. So I've heard, everybody who signed up with them, it took them a while. So assuming it's just one of those things, but was hoping to be starting it up today. But yeah, here we are. It's spring break, so hey, kids are off. How many of your kids are on spring break right now? My kids are on spring break in our area. I know it's different across the country. Anybody else got their kids home and things? Got any fun plans? We're going to be trying to hit the aquarium and a few other things here. Should be fun this week. Okay. So, and that reminds me, hopefully later tonight we'll post out some kind of spring break special offer, because everybody loves special offers. Who doesn't? So if you're in a 2-week free trial, this could be a great week for you to jump in, because if you're on a 2-week free trial, you get an extra little bonus discount offer there. So hit me up if you are interested in that. We'll get you settled in. Welcome aboard. Let's talk about those new updates. I think we got a few people hanging out here now. And let's bring over what I posted in the premium chat a little bit ago. One moment. And we'll go through the list of the updated release features, etc. Okay, and let's see. Username is truncated. Cool. Scroll down, and here we go. Okay, so Algobox pivots. Let me talk about that one first. So we call them pivots. These go by various names depending on what part of the industry you came from. Prior close, prior high. Those are adjustable in color now. If you guys would like to change them, we've got them defaulted to colors that I thought were cool. Prior low, etc. S1, support, resistance, standard operating procedure stuff. Just some opportunities of things. If you're looking at high time frame scenarios of looking for places that you might want to play, those are there. Again, I'm not a big player into those. You guys will see, how I use those. I like to use them when they correlate with something else. You guys know me. I'm all about correlation. I'm all about confluence, multiple things coming in with those. I heard a lot of people are really enjoying those, liking them for, pivot locations or areas to use as targets. Especially when they coincide with things on the volume profile. You guys know me. I'm a big cave player. I love a cave. I use, people have asked me, Vinny, how do you use the volume profiler? So let's talk about that here tonight. Again, Mentorship Monday. I'm just going to be talking about things that come to mind. I don't always have something specific in mind for Mondays. This is opportunity for you to bring questions, things that might not be clear. So think about things that you might want to see me talk about here tonight, and we'll do it. So, volume profile. How do I use it? Also synonymous. People will say market profile. So if anybody's asking, what's the difference between the two? I think they're the same. But people would debate that. Some people say, well, it has to be over multiple days or over weeks, periods, etc. To me, it doesn't matter, and I don't think it should matter to you either, personally, because of the way that we approach the markets. So, volume profiler, we've got nodes and we've got caves. So, caves, nodes, that's it. That's all I care about. There are way more complicated ways to talk to and think through these things. Again, when we approach the markets like a video game, all you need to know is I'm going to be using the nodes for targets and caves for entries. What do you see at the front of a cave? In case you want to remember this right here. What's at the front of a cave? You want to go into the cave, you go into the what? The cave entrance, right? So that's how you can remember it. Caves have entries, right? So I enter on caves and I target nodes. Because nodes don't have entries, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they could, but let's just be square about it, okay? So on the left-hand side, the way that we use it, let's see, let's go ahead and connect here. People have asked, hey, how come the volume profiler doesn't show up in market replay? Remember that our volume profiler, I have it build in real time. I think it is more important for you to be using real time than historical. However, I will show you a way if you have NinjaTrader Lifetime and using their profiler suite, how you can use that in their drawing tools. We'll draw one right now, so that I can even see it, even though ours is not coming through right now, unless more data starts coming through. And of course, we're after hours here, so there's not going to be a lot of movement. But our volume profiler will fill on the lowest time frame the way that I use it. I want the most recent information for those cave entries, because remember, I want them off of an entry chart. However, if I wanted to find out where the volume nodes and caves are on this leg, for instance, I know it's multi-leg. In fact, we've got 1, 2, 3, and almost a 4-legged dog trap right here, as we can do some counts, right? So potential trap right there, right? Intraday, I'd be looking for a 4-legged dog trap. Everybody understand that? If you don't, make sure you go and watch the 4-legged dog trap. Remember, I'm just going to talk about things here as we go through things as I see them. And hopefully you guys are picking up on things, or they're reiterating them for you so that you see the things the same way that I do. And if there's something that I say that you don't get, please speak up. Tonight is the night for you. If you're a new member, also for you, we'll answer all kinds of questions. Anything you got, we'll have a chat. So, but let's just consider this whole thing one down move and consider it a leg. And let's go into their drawing tools here, and we're going to pull up the order flow volume profile right here. This is in the drawing objects section, order flow volume profile. It is also the hotkey control 3 if you want to bind that. So I'm going to hit drawing objects and I'm going to go order volume profile. So now I'm going to click on the top of the leg up here, and I'm going to go down to the bottom, and this will draw a nice little profile thing going on here. I'm going to pull off the overlays here for just a moment so you can see things a little bit more clear. Okay, so hopefully you can see the volumetric data being drawn in here. Okay, everybody see that? So if, you know, for instance, ours is starting to populate here as the data is coming in right now in real time. And, you know, during the market day, you'll probably already see this drawn over here for you. But if you needed to draw it, there it is, control 3, and you can draw this in. So where would I want to, do I want to enter in normally on a node? No, not my favorite place to enter in on. If you're going to be a strict volume profile player, then I would want to enter in on the cave, right? Everybody understand that's a cave? So think of it like this is the side of the mountain and it's caved in. If everybody understands the cave, type me a 1. If you don't get the cave, type me a 2, just so I make sure I'm clear. It's a visual cue, in my opinion, but there it is. So that's a cave. That's where I want to enter. If this were to make my move up here on a 4-legged dog trap, and if I got a play right here on the cave, I would take that for a reversal play inside of the cave in general, right? Now stops still stay the same. Is anything ever 100%? Always please mind the stops. Everybody should know that. We have 4 stop types. We used to have 3, but we also have a triangle now, so I have to add that into the mix. So you guys have heard me for forever talk about, hey, we got 3 stop types. What are they? Dot, box, cross, right? But now we also have a triangle. Why the triangles? On a
harmonic NQ on the 2.
On a divergence. Speaking of divergence, the audio, I didn't plan that. That was completely unplanned, but hey, that was pretty handy. I'm going to zoom in here, and we will come into one of these triangles. Okay. So if you get a triangle, where's the stop going? Back of the triangle. Okay. So basically shapes. Okay. Stops are going behind the shapes. We are approaching the market like a video game. Dot, box, cross, or triangle. All right. So stop adherence. Keep on rolling. Okay. I've got this standard 5 chart layout here going. When you guys are seeing my competition, I'm planning on doing what I call the flag layout, which is the light edition, just to make it as simple as I possibly can for traders who are new or people who are on laptops or anything, because people are like, hey, you know, do you really have to have all these charts? I still think they're very handy and very helpful, and I will be keeping my 2 high time frame charts in my purview off on another screen, but it will be 3 prime charts. So if you want to open yours that way, let me show you how you do that. We're going to go into workspaces, and I'm looking for the workspace called Standard 1080p Light. There we go. So if you want to open up yours, click on the control center, and it is contract rollover. Another thing we should talk about this week. Yes, go ahead and roll over. Now I know a lot of people, everybody debates about, well, I want to roll over here and I'll do it like this, I'll do it like that. Listen, I always roll over on a Friday after the Friday close. So yes, the official closing is this Wednesday, and people are like, well, I like to look at the volume. Bro, you can make it as complex as you want if you want, okay? But at the end of the day, this is a game of horseshoes and hand grenades, okay? Closest to the pin wins. So stop trying to part hairs, okay? Best thing you can do for yourself, stop overthinking things that you don't need to. Focus on the things you do, like execution, like entries, like quickness, like speed, okay? But I'm going to go ahead and roll over here and click on done. Nice little easy peasy. We're going from the 03 to the 06 contract. We are into the next quarter. So important. That also means that this week we're going to have some cool volatility. Probably even starting on Thursday and Friday of last week. We get that extra oomph, and we will have it through Wednesday at least. So should be some fun. And by fun, I mean opportunities, of course. All right, I saw a lot of ones earlier, no twos. Cool, so we got the cave thing, understood, beautiful. Okay, so this will be my primary layout. I will have my, it might be a little bit different in my layout because I do want to have my entry keys, kind of my center on my screen. So I will move some things around. You guys have seen a classic layout of mine where I kind of reverse these two. I'll have the higher time frame up and over on the right, and I'll have my other high time frame there. It gives me a lot of big space. I'm going to have this one nice and large on the left, and then I'll have these two over on the right, and we'll have that. So don't be confused if you are watching in on my competition. It's just a way that I've kind of shifted things. I still like to keep it like this though. If I'm trying to make a recommendation for someone, our minds are already programmed to read left to right. And I want you to be following in by starting from the left, looking at high time frames moving into low. So left to right is still a natural movement for you. So I would recommend that you don't do what I'm going to do in the live stream. But if you really like it, go for it. It really just gives me more space here. I really like to see a lot of space on my entry chart for targeting when I'm looking for runners, etc. And normally I'm also going on a 4K, although the live stream will be a 1080p size like this. So just for visibility, when we're talking about public contests and showcasing things publicly, makes things easier for you guys who are, I've got people who watch on their telephones, and we got a lot of feedback around that. Okay, so talked about the pivots. Those are editable text and font sizes now. If you guys want to modify those and make them bigger, some people said, hey, it's too small. Some people said, they want to change colorings. Those are now adjustable for you, minor enhancement. Some of the bugs, particularly if you had issues with the Bollinger Band sounds, that was an issue before. Now you can go into the sounds on that, go to indicators, wait for it. First we call ours the super bands. And so if you hear me say super bands, that would be them, but a lot of people are familiar calling them the double Bollingers. Okay, so the color codings and all that, if you want to enhance them with sound, you now have sound alerts. I don't have them turned on by default. I'm just trying to limit some of the sounds that are going on. But you can set those sound alerts. You can set them to custom. You can have a high one and a low one separately, or you can just use Algo Voice, and Algo Voice will read off the text. If we are touching the high band or the low band, you can enable those. Those were some requests that people had put in. That now has sound. Okay, the data loading fixes. So if you were getting the error before where you would see in the log, you would see data attempted to load and it's looking for the host. It says, hey, data from the host is not there. Depends on how many days of data you had, etc. We have fixed all that. Those are all now fixed. That was on the Alpha Omega, the Delta flagging, as well as on the Enigma loads. Those are now fixed. So feature enhancements. Stability fixes to the Enigma. Let's go and look at the Enigma. I'm actually going to open up a separate workspace that really just showcases that. So I'm going to open up the eBot 1080p workspace.
Harmonic NQ on the 2.
Wait for it. Bot 1080p. There we go. Okay, so main thing need to know, if you want the original OG of confluence levels or the original Enigma, people have mentioned about that, and like, because hey, they didn't like the new changes where I was filtering a bit more. They're like, hey, I want to see more. Okay, so what I did was we made some adjustments here. We have multi-level confluence here into the Enigma. Okay, so level 2 is the original OG. Okay, everybody got that? You wanted the original, you liked how many were showing up, you got used to that. Totally understand that, totally get it. So you want to do L2. So that is our default out of the box on these L2. If you want to see more of them,
Harmonic
drop down
L2.
a level and you will see more Enigmas. And as you move up to level 4, you will see more filtered versions of those, in theory more powerful. Again, I always say in theory because I mean you will see ones that are like, you know, a level 1 and the thing can take off. It really depends on what's happening, our time frames, etc. But if you are, you know, a person who wants to filter more yourself, then you might want to use L1. If you're a person who really likes to rely on let the tool do the work, then you might want to set it all the way up to a level 4 and see more and or less. Let's scroll back here, and after hours are probably are not very many. So there's a 16 and a 61 in this section right here. Let's go and show what that might do if we were to change that. So Enigma bot panel, we're on a level 1, and let's go to say a level 3 and see if those are still going to show up. Okay, those are both there. So bad test there. How about we go to a level 4? Still there. Okay, well, poor testing on that. Let's go zoom out far. I apologize about my voice here. Okay, so about 3 in this section here. Let's take it down to a 1 and see if we see additionals. This will probably apply more to the morning area. So, oh man, my eyes are getting bad. Okay. Make me make me go back to my 55. A 55-inch screen. These 43s aren't cutting it for me. Oh, this is asking me to roll over. I was like, why is this not refreshing? Oh, probably because it's asking me to refresh, Brett. Speaking of not being able to see things. Yeah, smash that like button here while we're taking a moment. Thanks for that, my friend. Smash it like you mean it. Okay, there we go. Rolled over and oh, now we're seeing a lot more. Let's do this. Let's clear the deck a bit and zoom into the good stuff. All right, let's remove some stuff. Kind of like the crosses, though. And I should probably remove the J-hook. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. But we want to be visual today. Alright, so let's go into our Enigma bot panel settings now. Okay, so we're on a level 4 here, so should not be seeing too many. I see a number 4 up there, and let's go to, say, level 1, now that we're on the proper contract month here. And there we go. So yeah, so you can see a lot more of those are going to be coming in there on level 1 versus a level 4. And so if you're a Confluence player, I probably want to use a lower value so that I can do a 1, 2, 3. If I would rather not do a cadence count, then I might want to use a higher value. Make sense? Any questions around that? The main thing was that a level 2 is what you want if you want the default original and you've been using it for a long time, then level 2 is probably what you're used to, and use level 2. Okay. those are the main things, folks. That's the new release. I do want to briefly mention those who have had questions, who are brand new with us, or like, hey, how do I get things installed? One of the requirements, you need to have NinjaTrader 8.1.2.1, and there are some very exciting bug fixes in this, but the one that's going to be really cool is the next one that's coming out. I was reading through their documentation. 3. Oh, thank you. They have fixed a lot of things, specifically around some of the crashing scenarios that they have. Very cool in .3. As soon as 3 comes out, I am upgrading immediately. You guys should too. Our code is compatible going forward on 8.1.2.1. And yes, you will required. First of all, you need to at least be on 8.1.2.1 for the most recent version that we just put out with all the new fixes and enhancements. So make sure you are, again, this is talking about NinjaTrader, not to be confused with Algobox. On Algobox right now, we are on 9.9.5.1 for Algobox. Okay, but it requires NinjaTrader 8.1.2.1. So make sure you do that update. Don't forget, always, the answer is always yes, you must uninstall the old one to install the new one, not NinjaTrader, but with Algobox specifically. NinjaTrader has their own upgrade path there, but I just like a clean path for you guys. Don't want any old workspaces hanging around, old code, etc. So make sure, because we change parameters sometimes, like parameter options, for instance. One that would break now would be the Bollinger Bands, because we have sound options in the parameters. So if you've got the old one, doesn't have the parameters, and you're trying to put in a workspace that doesn't have those parameters, you can understand how that breaks, hopefully. But I know we get a lot of complaints about people saying, hey, how come I can't use my old workspace? Well, it depends on what all changes you made, but in general, it's just safer, because you could be either missing parameters or hanging parameters that nobody wants to hang, right? So every time we make changes, I update all of our workspaces to have all the parameters, and all those things are saved, and so that's important. And sometimes we can remove parameters. Sometimes we need to remove them. We try not to. Okay, we're not just willy-nilly changing them. We also don't change names of things. On a rare occasion, we absolutely have to, but we try not to, so that you can use your old workspaces. But yes, just in general, you need to know that. Any word on the flashing being fixed? I am hoping they fixed it in .3. I saw them address, it's funny, like the description of what they're saying is exactly what I've been trying to tell them, is that when they have non-time based bars, which means the x-axis, everybody knows, brings you back to your high school days of the Cartesian plane. So you got the XY coordinates, right? So as you go down the X coordinates, and this is marked off by time, well, it's easy when it's time bars because this is all evenly spaced. But when you don't have time, there could be a gap from here to here, and between here and here, you may print, 100 bars. Okay. Well, that has to be adjusted on the fly. And what it seems like to me is all of their plot features, anything that plots, it's not even just our delta flagging or others, like that's just the one that shows it the most obvious because it's right there flashing at you all the time. But it's anything that plots. We see it flash the something as simple as the open, high, low clotheslines. It's insane. I really hope they get that fixed. And it was obvious that it came in 8.1.1.7, and we have tried to tell them what it is. It falls on deaf ears. Hopefully they get that fixed, because yes, it's an annoyance with the weird, we just call it flashing, because they obviously redraw the whole thing, which is just crazy. It's probably additional CPU cycles as well, which we'd like to free up. So yes, that's what we currently know, but we won't know until we get our hands on .3. But I'm crossing my fingers. Like, I really am. I'm really excited. I'm hoping that they fix that 3, because one of them they're describing, but what they describe though is logarithmic. I believe they said logarithmic bars. I should have had it pulled up here. I didn't know if you guys were going to ask that tonight, but if you want to go into the release notes for the most recent 8.2.1.3, you'll see in the release notes, there's one on there that says logarithmic changes. They were like, oh, we found it could scale improperly. And I'm like, yeah, the scaling. We've been telling you there's a scaling problem since 8.1.1.7. Okay, good. They found something in their logarithm thing. Fantastic. And I hope it also solves this one, but it's not specific. They didn't say on non-time based bars, but they did say on logarithmic bars. So I'm hoping, crossing fingers, that they figured out what that was. It's going to apply to both.
NQ on the 2.
But yes, we'll continue to harp on them about that one. Other questions. We've had quite a few people coming and asking us about optimizations on Lunchbot, and I really want to make sure tonight, like, just tell you, like, please pay attention to the videos, please take notes, and the things that I say in the videos are actually quite important. This actually reminds me of the reasons why I originally stopped supporting full auto for the free trial, because we've got people in free trial just going straight to the full auto stuff. They don't pay attention to any of the other videos, they're not taking notes, and they're just fly-by-nighters like, oh, it's gonna be, and of course they say, oh, see, it doesn't work. It does. You just actually have to pay attention, and you know, it gives us a bad name when people are just like, they're trying to optimize on an algo bar. And even I say in the video, like, algo bars are for visual design purposes, so that you can see spikes very easily and quickly, and adjustments on size of bars for things like volume. Very good at showing those things. What it's not good is on order fill accuracy on backtests. On backtests, the way that backtests are designed through NinjaTrader, it's not us, they are designed by bar closures and bar opens. A trade will open on the next bar open. An algorithmic custom bar type like the algo bar uses, it's technically, and I mean, I hate to use the word, but it is a fake open and it is a real close. So it closes here, but the next open, it's not a real open. So you end up getting extra ticks that you wouldn't have gotten, you know, and it can be, the smaller the bar, the less issue it is. But when you start going into higher bars, which is what a lot of people do, and they're like, oh, I saw it's best on a 15 algo bar, and I'm like, yeah, because it's giving you a free, you know, set of 10 ticks. You know, like I tried to explain that in the video. You need to optimize on range bars. I say that for a reason. Okay, so anyhow, if you are one of those people that are just obsessed with, you absolutely cannot do anything but full auto, and you want to go full auto, please pay attention to the videos. Thanks. Okay, have I beat that dead horse? Fantastic. What are as trading now? Which version of Star Wars are you from, Yoda? Okay. Any other questions that I missed? I do want to talk about filtering. Let's open up the other workspace. So I had a conversation with someone earlier today. I have this conversation, I'd say, fairly often. For anybody who has struggled at any point, a very simple fix for avoiding some trades that aren't going to necessarily win for you. I think the hardest thing about trading is not knowing when to trade, but is knowing when not to trade. So let's talk about a really easy and great filter, in my opinion. See, that's smart, Alighten. Yes, you really shouldn't. I think you should know how to do everything manually first, and then automation makes a lot more sense. And then you don't get caught in the middle of like, oh, well, optimization didn't work, so everything else didn't work. And they're running backtests. And I'm like, I literally say in there that backtest is the quarter of the process. A backtest simply defines whether or not you have an edge or not. When you're looking for specific results on a backtest, that's silly. Silliness. How much learning is involved to go full auto? So I don't really think much, but it requires people who have brains, and I find a lot of people online don't have any. I hate to say that, but I mean, Twitter's an example. I go on Twitter and talk to people. Okay. I would prefer, like, I just kind of already know that if someone will take the 40 days to go through our training, you know, like for real, then that's the type of person that can probably learn. But these fly-by-nighters who are coming in here like, oh, yeah, I signed up for an Apex. I bought 10 Apex accounts the other day because it was on 90% off, and I want to run on a full auto while I'm at my work, and I want to run from my phone. So I'm trying to get your settings all set up. So what settings should I get? What settings should I do? I try to get the algo bar optimized, and the optimization didn't get me in the same numbers as my other numbers. And then I wasn't sure if I needed to do high fill or self fill or standard fill or... Like, did you watch the video? Yeah, I watched the video. Okay, there's 3 videos. Did you watch 3 videos? I think so. Did you take notes? Yeah, okay, but I'm trying to get the algo bars, and I'm like, okay, listen, I said it in the video. It's really, I like iterate it. Like as much as I'm iterating it right now, I'm like, you cannot do the backtest or the optimization on an algo bar type. It is a custom bar type specific to help you as a user, as a person. Doesn't work well for computers. Use standard NinjaTrader range bars. Huh? What's a range bar? Get out of my room. Get out of my room. I literally, like, I can't deal with it every time we come into these tickets. We got these tech tickets, and I'm like, oh my word. All right, you know who you are. There's a little group of people who have come in here and like, oh yeah, we're gonna run some full auto together. Run this EA back on MT5. Got 500 settings. What do I do on here? Shut up. Find the exit. Thank you. I'm such a nice guy. All right, let's talk about filtering. Speaking of nice, let me tell you what's really nice. The masher strategy. Go watch the masher strategy video. Everybody should already know what the masher is. But if you don't, I want to talk about the difference between the masher versus standard deviation on the masher. Really on the Mac V, but masher versus standard deviation lines, okay? And they are lines. I'm talking about the lines. You'll see what I'm talking about. Masher lines versus standard deviation lines. Let's go. So go into your Mac V chart. I'm going to go to right click and go to indicators. We are going into the VINNY'S Mac V entry system settings. Oops, you can't see that. Bring it on screen, you can. There we go. So right here, let's turn on the standard deviation lines to show what we're talking about. To do that, I'm going to click here on show deviations. These are in the visual drawing sections. Show deviations. Boom. All right, so now we have, notice we have white lines, 1, 2, 3 right here. And on the bottom side, they are dotted lines on the lower side. You can change those however you want. You can visually change the settings for that, colors, etc. It is exhausting. And then they want a phone call too. Then I say the same thing on the phone call. Like, oh my. Okay, so those are the standard deviation lines by themselves. Okay, and let's show the difference between a standard deviation versus masher lines, and a very simple way to use it to filter your trades, number one, and to know the differences for the type of entry. So there is a masher strategy entry set up. Let's go back to the AM session here. And again, I will try to hit on the majority of the things in the masher strategy, but please watch the video. Speaking of watch the video, take notes. Go page up here. And it's 4 a.m., 8 a.m., 9, there we go. Okay, so these are standard deviation lines. Let's show this as, let me take them off first. Sorry, should have done this. Let's show masher first, because it's an actual entry strategy versus a filter. Okay, so masher lines. First, I want to find a place where we had a nice pivot. That one right there stands out pretty good, doesn't it? Right there and right there. That little, we're talking about the mountain right here. So I want to take a note of that mountain, and I want to draw a masher line on top of that. Why we call it the masher? Because when we come over there and we hit it again, we want to mash it. Okay, so that's a good one. That's also a good one right here. Okay, because as we can see, we went up and then we pivoted and we made a big move. So I like that one. I do want to mark that one, and I want to mark this one. This is different from standard deviation lines because we're actually going to mark them ourselves. The F6 is the default key for that. So I'm simply going to press F6, and I'm going to click right there on the mountain peak right there. That draws me a nice horizontal over to the right. Now, I also want to mark this one because this is another one that I want to see for the morning session. Let's see, you guys can't see that. Let's up a little bit so you can see the time of day. Okay, so this would be per session, and if you don't know our sessions, type !! sessions in our room or watch our videos, and there are session points during the day that you would want to have those validated for, and then do new ones for other sessions. So this is going to be a morning session one, and this is going to be a morning session one right here. So I'm going to press F6 on this one. Okay, so for a morning session, when those are touched, I want to look for a position. And in a masher sense, I'm actually going to be looking for a reversal play on these because, hey, previously these reversed, so I want to reverse on those again. That's the high side ones. I also want to do some on the low side. Right now, do I want to count this one? Not really, right? That didn't make a big move up, so I'm not going to count that one. But this one, that's a decent move up there, so I've got a correlation right here. These two, I'm going to go ahead and press F6 because they kind of match right there. So for my morning session, as I come down into that section, I'm going to want to pivot turn. Here is another one. This is after 9:35, which is where we want to start trading here. So I'm going to mark this one as well, which is this pivot right here. Okay, so for mashers, I'm actually going to be looking for plays in a reversal off of a masher versus a standard deviation. I may not. A standard deviation is simply going to allow me to take a trade as a filter. So those are the primary differences. Okay, so let's look for the next play as it comes into this spot right here. Okay, so this is the high pivot here. This one came in right about here. It did come down, but not very much. Let's use our measuring tool with the ruler to see how much that went down. Probably not enough. I'm kidding. That's a full 44 ticks right there on that drop. So this is why I tell you, go ahead, and if these are touched, I may want to take a play off of this. Again, off of a lower time frame. Doesn't look like much here, but these can turn into much larger plays when they hit. Let's scroll over to the right and see if we had another one. Masher touch here. Let's measure this one here. Oops, wrong button. That's a 77 tick drop. This one from up here, that's 187. And that one didn't quite get up to the next play there, but that one was this one right here. And tough because that one technically would stop you out right there. But again, I'm looking for reversals off of a masher versus standard deviation lines where I'm wanting to filter. On the high side, let's see. So the next touch here, did we have an up move on the next touch? Here's the first touch. Nope, didn't work on that one. What about this one? That's a pretty decent move to the upside. That's 119 ticks to the upside on the secondary touch of that line right there. And we come down here again and touch. How far did that go? That one went pretty far. So the first place it hit was right here on that green line. That probably would have stopped you out because, again, these are deep on a algo bar 9. That's 46 ticks. You're not going to hold through that. But on masher, just know that we're looking for entry points on mashers. If this one didn't work, we want to come over here and mark the next one. You guys should know this from going through the masher strategy video. If you're a masher player, again, this is a higher time frame play. You're looking for bigger plays when these set up. Now, let's talk about the difference with those. I'm going to delete these. Put our standard deviations back on. And by the way, you can use these synonymously. If you want to use the masher lines the same way to go, I'm not going to play unless I touch a masher, you can also do that. But I will show you that you'll have some more play opportunities when you have the standard deviations. So standard deviation lines are touching right there. Was that a play? Yes. Very nice move up. The standard deviation touch right there. Was that a play? Yes. Standard deviation touch right there. Was that one? No. Okay, so again, there's nothing 100%. That one right there. That one also came with a cross. I would probably take that. So what does that get us? Doesn't look like much, but that is 47 ticks on that up move. Again, I'm usually still playing off the lowest time frame. I'm entering in and I'm looking for a 10, 15, 20, 25 target on those. How are the divergence lines different from the arrows? Yeah, let me come back to that. That's a good question. I don't think we put that back in, but Okay. So I need, this is still broken, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so these are visually just going to, like, if you are a divergence player, you know, there are a lot of divergence players who like this. I've never been really a big divergence player. I've played it for a while. It's just, I wanted something more reliable. There are so many that fail. It just is not a thing for me. I use it as an additional confluence if I wanted it. But when you turn them on, I think it's too much. Personally, if you like them, they're there, okay? Accuracy of them, though, again, I've got some issues with this. I know there's bugs. Like, look at this one. Okay, I already know I have this right. Like, that's weird, right? It drew to there, but why did it just completely ignore that one? Yes, so it's currently buggy. Don't use it as of right now. But yeah, that's why I don't ever talk about it, because it's not really fully functional, so don't use it. The best thing that you can use is the triangles for now. Make sense? And the triangles are going to be off of the Ultimate Oscillator divergence versus MACV hills. Again, these hills are histograms, so it's a little bit trickier trying to play those, just FYI, because there's multiple moving averages involved on that, and it's just the way that it is for right now. So the answer is, don't use divergence, not to be confused with deviations, but I know a lot of people, even myself, dev, I get it. Deviations is what we're talking about. Show deviations. Deviation lines. There we go. Did I answer that question? But yeah, stick with the purple arrows for true divergence off of what would be considered a momentum ultimate oscillator with a multi-time frame momentum analysis, which is much better in my opinion. Okay. So standard deviations. If you simply do this, and I'm considering coloring this zone or giving it as an option, you just do not play this zone. Just do not take any trades while it's inside of here. At the same time, if you do this, like, you can't see when it's approaching. But just between standard deviation 1 and standard deviation -1, these two, if you just stay out of here and you took anything outside of this, it's kind of interesting to see this. And if I can, it's a little bit bigger. On occasion, you just want to color. You know what I'm saying? Just feeling it. Feeling some games. All right. There we go. If you only took plays on the lower time frames when we were in these sections, look at the time of day that this filters, first of all. So this is 9:30 to 9:33-ish, but we can cut this out too. Why? Because it's before 9:35, right? So if we start right here, we look over to the right, where do I want to trade, right? We were playing here, and then when we get in here, nope. And look what it just filters out already. It filters out all of this. All that mess. Right? Now, we get extended out here. Boom. Look at that. First triangle shows up. High time frame. Look at that triangle in there. That is a beast. There's your 187 tick move on a standard deviation triangle that came in right there. After what? After this mess in the middle. Okay. And I know I'm showing you, this higher time frame filter, but that's the point. Yeah, what color's the fiddle? Maybe we can make it brown? Maybe brown background color there. Yes, so we'll probably let you change it to whatever you want, but we will have that as an option to kind of color in between the standard deviation lines to just remind you, don't. But at the same time, we're big boys and girls, okay? Like, just don't trade between that section. Like, wait till the lines have reached out there and touched outside of those areas, and it will just help you immensely. Okay, so let's scroll over here to the right, and if you could just go in and play this at any point, go back and look at how much of this stuff gets filtered out. All that, right? And then on the lower time frames, if you were to only play those, what ends up doing, because you guys have heard some of my rules, we were waiting for certain things. One of those is an impulse leg. An impulse leg. That means, hey, we moved. There was an impulse. We got a giant, I won't say giant, but a significant move in a direction. A distribution leg has occurred. Could be multiple legs, but in general, some form of trend in a direction has occurred. Once we've done that, that's gotten attention, right? That has gotten people looking. And we want to play when other people are looking. We want to find trap traders. We want to find algorithms that are going to fire off because they have caught and grabbed. They have grabbed the liquidity that they need to move into position. Accumulation distribution. Okay. It's so simple. Like, it's why I really want to drive it home here tonight. I had a long conversation with one of our members earlier today. One of the things to help them, and I've said this to multiple traders, and it's a game changer for them. Next thing you know, they're like, holy cow, like that week where it didn't do well, I just went back into the exact same thing and just didn't touch it if it didn't hit standard deviation line. Amazing. Happens all the time. And you'll see me do it on live streams. In my live streams, what I've been doing lately, right? You guys see me, I say lately, it's been a month since I've been out there because we took February off and used that time to do all of our, what I call technical debt. If you've been in IT and for any time period, you know, there's a concept of technical debt. You know, you accumulate some technical debt over time. You've had to move fast, break things. Now you take some time to, you know, patch things up, get the bugs out, and, you know, do some solidification of things. So we did that in February. It's the shortest month of the year, although this year was longer, right? Because we had leap year. So we took the shortest month to do as much technical debt fixing as possible. And of course, I had some family things you guys might have heard. Appreciate your guys' prayers for my dad and Austin stuff. There is a potential that we may be moving to Austin to try to help out with them a bit more. Even they'd come in town a few times here now, and it's just been a little bit more overwhelming for my sister than she was ready to manage. And my brother-in-law is super busy with his surgical rounds and stuff like that. So, you know, my dad falls now, and just, you always have to call the ambulances and fire people to come and pick him up because he's heavy and all this kind of whatnot. And at the same time, I can just pick him up myself because I'm fat. I'm 205. Well, I'm down to 20. I hit 201 the other day. I'm trying to get down. I was 210 to 225 for a long time, and I needed to get out of that. Okay, so enough about me. Let's go back to our trading. And sorry for my throat. Still a little bit under the weather from last week. Okay, so standard deviation lines. Just filter. Don't take any trades in here. You just be amazed at what you'll come up with. Such better plays over here. And that has to do especially with Enigma. I mean, if you just took the Enigmas when this is touching out here, man, just go look. Just go play it yourself. See what I'm talking about. It's awesome. You'll be seeing me do that a lot in the small account challenge against ICT and the Muppets. Yeah, and again, yes, those who are looking for me to do that, I was planning on getting out there today. Waiting on Robbins. Typical story. ICT is doing a documentary around this whole thing all at the same time. Like he said on March the 1st. March the 1st, guys, I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna show you guys everything. I promise. I'm gonna show you guys my dailies. I'm gonna show you my month. I'm gonna show you. Yeah, right. Now what we see, Mikey, is you're trading micros. So micro Mikey, listen, here's how you know when somebody has no confidence in their trading is when you're trading micros. Okay. Not only does he claim he's the best, bro, he's worse than the rest. When you got to trade micros, bro, you got problems. Don't worry. We'll solve it. We will solve it for everyone to let them know ICT's a fraud. Support and resistance, sure, it works on occasion. Like, oh, I've seen it work, Vinny. Yeah, on the left-hand side of the chart. A little bit different when you have to work on the right-hand side of the chart, my friends. Our system does really well with it. So we'll prove that. Really excited about doing that. Hopefully I'll hear from Robbins tomorrow, and we'll get to live streaming. What do you say? Okay, let me see if I missed any questions. If I missed a question, please retype it. I'm going to start from the bottom and move my way up. One more way to stalk the trade. Yes, exactly. Just simply wait, stalk it, and then press the button. Boom. Enter. Let's see. That. Middle, yep. Nope. Of Algawar is opposite. Yes. Yeah. Specifically around pivots. Yes, sir. The purple arrows, yes. I'm day 21, 47 videos in. Told myself I will not ask questions until I've completed the library. Oh, thank you for that, Guardy. See, that's the way to do it. Those are the smart people in the room. Yeah, go through the videos and then bring your questions. That would be amazing. I think they will get answered in the video if you pay attention closely. Most of it's I mean, it's going to be in there. It's almost always. Everyone's like, oh yeah, I found it in the video. The second time I went through. Okay, we're at 55 minutes. I'm going to give it 5 more minutes for any questions, anything you guys would like to see. Am I missing something? Have I not shown something?
Fib.NQ on the 2.
Yes, hit that like button for us one more time. Got 63 likes. I love it. Appreciate that. What's up, Mark? Another dev. How's dev life treating you, brother? Are we all scared that AI is going to take over our coding jobs? Yes. I don't know when they're going to come start trading for us, but I don't know. We'll see if they can come beat Algobox. Let's say your top 3 favorite harmonics to trade. Oh, there's a great question. Well, my absolute number 1 off the list is, of course, the shark. And the shark, it's one of those multi things. I can do multiple things with it, right? So we've got a shark and we got a shark back, right? I'm sorry, we got a shark back and we got a shark tail. So I can play the back of the shark, and we can also play something that hits in behind the shark. So I would have to say shark is definitely a top fave. Then I've got, you know, some certain names like the Cypher. Come on, Cypher. It just has a cool name. You know what I'm saying? Like, so anything that involves a Cypher, I'm down with it. And between the butterfly and the crab, that's a tough one. I will tell you the one I don't like is Gartley. I don't know why. Like the Gartley name, I just don't like the name Gartley. It's just weird to me. Is that weird? But from a perspective of, you know, you're trying to talk about like, well, power wise, I only make a distinction between 2 in our strategies that we talk about, and that is the diamond and the shark. So the most powerful one is the shark, and the weakest one is the diamond. So the diamond by itself we don't play, but we do play a diamond dot, because oftentimes the Fibella dot near and or after a diamond is typically a great play. So, because that a diamond is defined by 2 equal legs, like an ABCD. So it's a very standard ABCD, number 1. And then the next Fibella dot, which is also another Elliott wave after it, with a multi-fib, just usually awesome. Especially when paired with any order flow event, which is a cross. So crosses are defined, or order flow events are defined by crosses or enigmas. And volume profile, of course, but from events that will show up as spots on your chart, you're going to be looking for crosses or enigmas. And Enigma has additional items, including structure, along with those, and leg counts. So a lot going on inside the Enigma, but there is really cool order flow patterning inside of the Enigma, which is why it's so badass. Vinny for president. Hey man, I'm down with it. I think anybody can be president. If Joe Biden can be president, come on. How hard can it be? You know, surround yourself with smart people. Good to go. At the same time, I wouldn't know who to call. Fill up my cabinet. I don't know how they do all that. But I still think I could do better than Joe Biden. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. You loving the dev life? That's good. Can we use BB back in Ripple charts? BB back. Bollinger bands back in the harmonic. Back on the Ripple charts. I think so. If you are having performance issues though, if you are on a laptop, if you're on a weak machine, I wouldn't recommend it. And again, anytime the market's running at normal speed, everything is fine. But you know what happens, right? The market gets hot, then all of a sudden your PC is not. Right? We do know that it does take up additional CPU cycles because of the region drawing and the region fill. Don't ask me why. It's something with NinjaTrader's drawing feature. It doesn't seem like it's that much to me, but I don't know how they're doing things in the hood. But we are just making calls to their drawing object stuff. to fill in these regions for the Bollinger Bands. But yeah, I mean, if it's working for you, great, do it. But if you're having performance issues, there was no additional performance fix for that. There was nothing we could find that's going to fix that. It's just the way that they handle that region. And their slivers, every one of them has to be a sliver. You basically have to draw a sliver per bar. So what happens is you know what happens. The market goes super fast and you print, especially on the lowest time frames, you all of a sudden print 130 bars in a second. There's nothing you can, 200 plus bars in a second. Yeah. It's crazy. And there's no multi-threading for the chart. So each chart has its own thread. Love to see 25 trading monitors in the Oval Office. Wouldn't that be cool? You got a nice curved wall. Got your monitors all around. That'd be pretty sweet, huh? All right. We hit ourselves right at a hour and 57 seconds. Thanks for hanging out. For me, Pippi, Robbie, Lunchbot, Mod Squad, Curtis, G, Eddie, and the rest of the gang. Let's send out that big H down to ya.